Hello and welcome to season two of Talk Right today. And we are back, right? With me, Santosh here, and my friend, colleague, Mayur. He's a different look, Mayur, but he has got different aspects to share, and I'm sure different experiences to share in the episodes. And today we're going to talk about how to manage, handle, and more importantly, adjust to change. With COVID coming in, it brought in a challenges not just on the medical front, but I'm sure you all know how to adjust to your BAU, which I know with we all as we jokingly put it as CAU, COVID as usual economies now. We are adjusting to change, and many of us have adjusted to change. Initially, there were those ups and downs, but I think overall, eventually, we have to adjust, and many of us have already adjusted to change. To talk about and discuss more about that and even analyze about this, I have Mayur with me. So over to you, Mayur.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back. It reminds me of the Terminator dialogue, I am back.
Yeah.
I think the changes, we are back. Welcome, friends, and thanks for joining in. This particular topic, viewers, is very sensitive. It's very relevant as well in the present context with what's happening around. And I think, Santosh, what is known as you said CAU, but I think I would call it MAU, me as usual,
Yeah.
also doesn't have relevance now because the usual me has to also start thinking about how I can become not unusual, but to adapt to the change. So the first thing I feel is that, I have seen, uh, and this is not just in the context of what's happening around us right now, and in the month of December that we are of 2020, with the COVID aspects going around, possibilities of vaccine. Apart from that, what I have seen is the effects of this new change, unfortunate change of the virus having affected not just people but the businesses. It has had a negative impact, unfortunately, on people, including myself. And it's had that effect or the impact not only in terms of the way I think, my attitude, because I'm seeing the change. It's also impacted the actual aspects like the financial aspects, the business aspects. I recently spoke to a person from a different country who owns who's the owner of a resort. He's sort of the main guy, and the business has come down because the airspace has been blocked, so there are no tourists,
Yeah.
and that change has affected him tremendously. So I just want to start off this discussion not about just discussing what has been happening, but how we can come out of it. And because what I want to start off with is, before we accept a change, it is first important to even analyze the change. Analysis or understanding why this has occurred is important. Sometimes we get into the blame game, or we get into conspiracy theories, and that affects us more. But very wisely done analysis of why this has happened, where we can go ahead, how can I respond, could be a good way of even de-stressing. Santosh, I've seen people getting, even that owner of the resort, getting stressed out because money is not coming in.
Yeah.
He has to pay his employees.
Yeah.
So if he analyzes the fact, and that analysis, proper analysis, leads him to accept the fact that that is what it is. Now, you can't change what has happened. That gives the fuel to think about what next, how to resolve this
Agree.
particular issue. And the first
Yeah.
step in that resolution, Santosh, is self change. Transforming oneself towards helping transforming the situation around you. So this
Yeah.
is what I wanted to just kickstart with respect to what I wanted to share about change management and self management.
Yeah. So you're rightly put it. So it's change is always constant, as they say. So a lot of it, if you look at it from a work perspective, for a lot of people, it's digital. I do understand when you come to think of aviation or tourism, it's a very different ball game, and it is going to
Yeah.
take its own sweet time and hopefully lesser than what we are envisaging. It is always said that the later part of 2021, once the vaccines are out, and things slowly will improve. But one thing is remember is that be it aviation, be it tourism, basically be in the hospitality industry, there's a
Yeah.
huge pent up demand of almost a year and a half. And you can imagine the entire globe has not taken holidays. So the shoot up or that V, as they say, the V curve recovery is going to be amazing. and those kind of jobs are going to be phenomenally in demand, and industry will pick up. But let us talk and maybe focus today on the current industry, be it finance, be it retail, be it banking, or any space where there is a lot of digital, where there is, and even education for that matter. We have seen so
Yeah,
many schools, banks, businesses adjusting to and continuing, more importantly, continuing with their business.
true.
And why is that so? It's about adapting to change, and that is digital. It's very important.
Yes,
Thankfully, and this is exactly where India has had its fair share of I would say we were really ahead of times, especially if you look at it from a demon perspective in 2016. If I remember, what happened then, right, is that basically because of that there was a lot of usage of digital. We went in for digital payments, we went in for digitization of the economy, and that really kind of helped Indian companies today to really move up. Let's just simply take one
right.
example. I remember reaching Mumbai airport after demon, and I've been told that we will not accept your 500 bucks. And that's when,
Mm,
the next time I reach, I see everything, from a
mm.
Paytm to a credit card. So we were already geared up for it way back.
Yeah,
And now
yes,
if
yes, yes,
any payment, it just moves on very, very simple. And if that has also happened with your maids opening bank accounts, etc. So that is one
absolutely,
classic example of how people adjusted to change. Thankfully, we were made ready for it, I think. And today,
absolutely.
everything is on digital, right? Exactly. So even education,
Absolutely,
I know
absolutely.
there were, especially certain schools, may not be the international schools, but they had their
Yeah,
challenges.
are you
Even
there?
teachers
Right, right.
adjusting to education and teaching through the mobile medium. I think those were the challenges. I agree, but things have moved on in the meantime. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I want to sort of bring in another perspective here, which is more individualistic, Santosh,
Yeah.
and something that our viewers could relate with as well. Viewers, our intent of doing these sessions, the intent has always been that, if possible, the viewers can take something away from the session which can be beneficial to them. And therefore, I want to bring in this individual perspective, which is that while we talk about we look at managing change from the attitude point of view, how the attitude to adapt to technology, the digital technology, for example, demonetization being one of the things. Today, the Paytm, Google Pays and all are doing very well because everything is now digitized. But even generally speaking, but from a specific perspective, I think there are two, three things that from the attitudinal point of view, we need to develop and evolve more. One is our attitude to think out of the box and about the box. We've had sessions on Talk Right today where we specifically focused on how to be creative. But here I'm not speaking in terms of how to become creative. I'm just focusing on the importance of identifying that thinking out of the box is the need for today. Because when we talk about adapting to change, we need to also be creative. For example, I know ABC. If I'm rigid that that's the only thing I'm going to learn and study, if tomorrow things change and you may be required to also know XYZ or XYZ, and if you're rigid and if you're not able to adapt to that new thing, or in between the ABC and the XYZ, if you don't have the attitude to create a new alphabet, which could be probably more beneficial. So sometimes I feel, Santosh, that when there's a crisis in terms of a new change, which is not good for us, like the virus, Corona is an example. Demonetization was good for us. Virus has not been good for us. So a creative person would probably look at different alternatives. Okay, so there are people today who are creative enough to use their time sitting at home to learn something different, create something different. I just got a message on my WhatsApp about this person whose daughter has started home door-to-door catering services. Now she's a chartered accountant, but she lost her job. So now, whether it's hardcore creativity or innovative, I don't know, but she's thought out of the box.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think for us, how we can open our mind towards thinking something different can also help us, in
Exactly.
hopefully resolving such situations. Otherwise, we'll get bogged down with the pressure
True.
of abhi kya hoga,
Yeah.
and that itself is that part which is the second one, is how we should manage stress. It's two sides, it's like the chicken and egg. If stress is
Yeah.
high, we can't be creative. I think that if you want to be creative, start thinking. Automatically, you will force your stresses to come down.
True.
So this is what I wanted to share
Absolutely. I mean,
from an individual
can't
point of view.
agree more with you. Especially take our own example, right? When we talk about Talk Right today in June, we were in the midst of the COVID economy,
Yeah.
if I have to put it in that way. Training
Yes.
sessions, face-to-face trainings were the order of the day till March, and then with COVID
Absolutely.
coming in, we there was a black hole. We didn't know when and what and how, and that's how when
Yes.
we interacted and we thought of Zoom. So to be very frank, Zoom is the quote unquote positive side for COVID from our perspective. But we
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
all that, and then we had those sessions with so many of our for the trainees, right? So I think adapting to change, and
Yeah.
more importantly, as you rightly said, agreeing to accept that change is very
Yes.
important.
Very
And
important.
that's
The
how
first step.
we, yeah. And you and me, both of us were new to Zoom. We just
Yes.
learned our own way of uploading something on YouTube,
Absolutely.
scheduling a Zoom
We
session.
didn't even know how to set the Zoom at that
Exactly.
point of time.
Exactly.
And I was like, thanks to you, Santosh, you were like, okay, let me do that. And now
Yeah.
you can do that in a minute or half a
In fact,
minute. You know.
people said, "Oh, face-to-face communication nahi hoga." But if you look at it digitally, I think
Yeah.
Mayur, in the last maybe 5 months, what we have spoken to each other has been in the last 15 years. I don't think we have spoken as much, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
in fact, it has brought a lot of people digitally face to face in different. And this is exactly what you said, out of the box or even over the box thinking to get.
Yeah.
Banks, for example, always had KYC face to face, but now banks have also evolved and are now
Yes.
adjusting to digitized face to face through a WebEx, through a Zoom, different ways and means. So I think
Yes.
that's how about it works, moves on.
It's they say in the in situations of crises, the smart, innovative people, if they are smart and innovative, they are the ones who can literally come across opportunities.
Yeah,
I, for example, would never have created 3 books, and I'm not glorifying it. I'm giving you as an example, viewers, just to give an example. Talk Right today itself, like Santosh said, is an example of us making the hay while the sunshine of stress was shining on us. Like we were like, what to do? And that's when we said, okay, let's try this out because it could be beneficial. Talk Right today. For me personally, Santosh, it gave me the time to create. My first book, I was able to really, sort of do what I had to do, and it's become a bestseller. Thanks. But my new book, I got the time to create it. I got the time to understand through that new aspects about publishing. So tomorrow I can literally be a consultant to people who want to write because
yeah,
I've put so much of efforts. So, and it all starts with, like you said, and viewers, I'm just reiterating it, is not rejecting and being rigid to the fact that to the reality, but to having a, towards accepting it in a very hard way, maybe, and then going forward. I think many times the ego comes in the way, Santosh. We sometimes do not want to accept the reality because it makes us look weak.
yeah,
That to accept that, yeah, nothing is happening. No, yes, nothing is happening, but something we can start. I think those people who have understood that are going to be making the best when the COVID goes away. They would
true.
be a couple of steps ahead. And
Yeah,
maybe this is a chance for all of us to do the same, we're taking 2 steps ahead.
yeah,
So yeah. And Santosh, I had a question for you as well. See, I have seen that um, you are a multitasker. Like I've seen you when you were living in Mumbai. My question to you is very simple: is you're a banker, plus you're a very successful radio jockey, 25 years. Okay, um, for me, and this can help all the viewers. How did you transform yourself from being a banker to a radio jockey and still doing your banking work? And today you're in Hong Kong with the blessings, you're a successful banker and still you're doing your radio jockey.
yeah,
So that also is transformation.
yeah.
What triggered you to do that? And maybe some of us can also take advantage of that and do something other than what we're already doing as well.
True. It's a good point, actually, Mayur. And I think what probably keeps you, what COVID teaches you, and probably I was ready for it right before, is your plan B of life. Uh, I think that's exactly what from one of my first sessions I had mentioned. You should always pursue, and when I say pursue, it need not be a hobby. It should go beyond the hobby, where it should actually monetize. You should always try and monetize any of your passions. Unfortunately, in India, whatever be it in terms of education, we all go in a standard science, arts, commerce. Then it leads you to certain specific banking
Yeah.
or a call center or certain jobs. But what unfortunately happens is that because of the time in commuting, we don't get the time to kind of think about these other careers. And we it's definitely going to be hard work. There is no doubt about it. Whether I'm in Hong Kong or in Mumbai, the amount of time that I need to spend on all these
Exactly.
activities is tremendous, no doubts about it. But I think one needs to put
True.
in that extra efforts. So I know in terms of banking, I used to work in a bank which required me 12 hours a play. But there were days when I had to go post my banking hours into the radio station, or maybe even before. I used to go in early morning shows like 6, 7 a.m. I had to hit the studios. But it's the passion that drives you. It motivates you. It keeps you going, right? So that is very important. So that's
So,
exactly
so are
when,
you
yeah,
saying that? So, are you saying that when you have a very deep passion towards something, that itself helps you to transform yourself and adapt and learn
absolutely.
and become that. You
Yeah.
change your shape of thinking because you love that thing so much.
Correct. I call it, there's that famous Johnny Walker, keep walking. I say keep pursuing. Whether you are
Yeah.
succeeding in it or not, take an example of the Zoom sessions. We both of us, we have started this since June. Now, whether we are not looked at the end result, we are just going on recording. It will have its own sweet ending. I'm sure, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to monetize, right? And we've already done that in the first 2, 3 months itself. So my
Yeah.
point is, don't look at what the end result is, but go on pursuing that passion. I think that's very important. Try it
Yeah.
out. Whether you succeed, you don't succeed, but at least try it out. I think that's very important. And you got to keep
So,
yourself busy.
yeah. So, Santosh, I would say this to the viewers. Viewers, in whatever positions of professional aspects that you are, like if you're a banker, you're a manager, you're holding a clerical post, you're an executive in an organization which is a manufacturing organization, you're an engineer working on the shop floor, you're in sales, hardcore sales, you're in accounts, wherever you are. I think our humble request is that keep transforming yourself, keep let the core be the same, but keep transforming, keep changing in a positive direction. Add new feathers to your cap. So if you're a banker like Santosh, he found passion in radio jockeying. The question is, what is your passion? And if you can, let's be honest, if you can monetize that, why not? In today's December 2020 that we are, the word monetization is probably very, very important, right? So you think about it. And we don't like to put words in your mouth, viewers. Like, we won't be telling you what you need to do with respect to your passion. That's for you to find out. I have a friend who loved keeping fish, right? Fish tank, goldfish, and he loved it, man. He used to call us home to show. "Ye ho gaya." And you know what happened after a couple of years? He started breeding fish and selling fish,
Wow. See, that's
angel
what,
fish.
yeah,
And it was more his excitement, which also helped him to monetize that.
correct.
My
Yes,
point is, you can monetize something if you wish to, but at least you can begin with opening your mind and going beyond the existing work that you're doing. So
correct.
I think that's probably where we come from, viewers. Is
Yeah,
when times get tough, the tough get going, something like that.
absolutely.
So
Correct.
with COVID will go away, but we can always use this situation of the virus as a way which brought a change in us. It
True.
transformed us to become more passionate about life. It transformed us to become more positive. It transformed us to become a fighter.
True.
I think that's a great takeaway. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
even I'm pursuing. I love that part you said. It's not just keep walking; it's
Yeah.
keep
In fact,
pursuing, because pursuing
one
is
more
more
point.
directional.
True.
Walking
In
is
fact,
you
I
can
may
just keep
add.
walking.
Yeah, if I may add one more point. So yeah, so one is definitely the monetization aspect of it. So you have a plan B out there. The second one, I think, is a lot of us and most of us have had this work from home option virtually across the world, and that's
Yeah,
where, especially cities in India, where you're going to save easily 1 to 2 hours and even more in some cases of that
right.
commuting. Now that is again that time where you need to even focus on your health. You must get into your exercise, or you must, that's where this is something you've always been craving for and giving all kind of reasons to say, oh, I don't have the time because mera train mein hi 2 ghanta chal jata hai, I have to sit late in office. Now is the best time. In fact, you already elapsed with almost 4 5 months of it, but if you still work from home and if you have that alternative, do go in for this and change your lifestyle. I think that's very, very important.
That's very true. On a concluding note from my side, Santosh, I want to say I've come across people who have opened up to me and have said to me that they're going through tremendous stress. I have a lady friend of mine. She works in the HR department, so I got connected, and this is a true story. So I won't mention names, but she has to play the role of a mother to a 10-month-old baby, a daughter. She
Hmm.
has to play the role of a daughter-in-law to a father who's bedridden almost. He's in the
Hmm.
fourth stage of cancer. A wife to a husband who's lost his job, and he doesn't know what to do. I mean, he's open to offers, but there are no
Yeah.
offers now.
Yeah.
And she's also um, an executive to her boss, who she is completely she feels she's been bossed around, and she actually called me to say, this is what is happening, can you get me a job opportunity? And despite all that, she wants to she's craving to bring a change in herself, because she says it's too tough. And all I said to her is, because of the work from home, she gets extra time. That's the point I was trying to make, to add to your point. And I said, can you please spend just 15-20 minutes with your eyes closed, do something which is more yogic, which will give you the time to be with yourself, to assess more clearly and more philosophically. And she's like, okay, I'll give it a try. She says, I love to listen to music. I said, good, but let that become a catalyst to you just spending time to think to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I said, it's only one life. So if you're going to just get affected by it all the time, you're wasting that much of time. And though it may sound very tough, I told her, it's important. You deserve a more happier life. So you need to find solutions. All I said is, she told me in that she loves dancing. She's a Bharatanatyam dancer. I said, can you please go back and at least explore? Maybe you can do online teaching.
Yeah.
At least find out. And when I said that to her, I'm not some great guy. I just was trying to, from my heart,
Yeah.
giving her some pointers. And she said, oh my God, online I can. And tuck, 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 Google, Wiggle, YouTube. She just got excited. I said, now, okay, bye bye. Now you work on it,
Yeah.
And that's what is happening to a lot of people is, they're getting affected. We all are. But it's time, I think, for us to transform ourselves and
Agree.
and adapt to the changing situations.
Absolutely.
So
On that very
that's what I want
positive
to say.
note, that example, or a live example that you quoted, it's time for us to sign out of this session. Season 2 begins once again. We'll have tons and tons of amazing episodes. Do catch us on Talk Right Today. You can always send in your Gmail. Your email is actually on our Gmail ID, which is talkrighttoday@gmail.com. So that's it from me, Santosh and Mayur for now. We catch you next time.
Thank you so much. And do subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and do spread the word. Bye.
Bye bye.